Brethren, Marcus here. Before we get going with today's episode, I want to let all of you beautiful people know that we here at Wandering Ways have a new apparel line out. Yes, I know we're that big now. We've partnered up with the people at Teespring to put out our design on some shirts, from short sleeve, long sleeve sweatshirts to tank tops. We even got socks out there. So if you want to get your hands on some of this cool apparel and support the podcast here, check us out at teesprings.com/stores/wandering-ways. That's teespring.com/stores/wandering-ways. Go ahead, check it out, get yourself something nice, or get someone else something nice for them as a little, hey, how you doing? But anyways, check it out, teespring.com/stores/wandering-ways. One of the times I actually jumped into the water.
Oh, I heard it was cold.
It is. It's very, and we did it in
like March.
No, we did it in like November.
Oh, well, same thing, just the other way.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It was like, we had like fall colors kind of on the hike. And oh man, it was cold. It was cold for sure. I jumped in with Matt Buddy.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. He said, man, that was some of the coldest water he ever jumped in.
Tink.
How are you, my friend?
Perfect and getting better. It is
always
a nice, chilly day. It rained a little bit, but that's fine. It was all good. But overall, nothing too special.
Yeah, no, I feel you. We had that storm move through this weekend. It got real cold. I mean, I'm wearing a sweatshirt and like a vest, and I'm cold in that. And I'm not ready for winter, but I guess I have to be.
I'm ready. I like the cold. I like the rain. Although I don't like snow. I don't like snow for like long periods of time. Like 3 days of snow, fantastic.
You don't like dealing with snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think the reason I don't like dealing with snow is I don't like dealing with the people that don't know how to deal with it. And just I don't like, you drive the same path to work every day. The lanes don't change where they are, but because it snows, they do. And even when it snows and you can see through the snow at the lanes, people are still doing their own thing. And you're just like, come on, guys, engage, brain, and think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never grew up in the snow. So to me, dealing with snow, it's kind of a foreign land to me. But like rain, I always steal the Bane line, You think rain is your ally. No, you merely adopted the rain. I was born in it. I was molded by it. I didn't see sunny days until I was a man.
Right? I get what you mean. I do. Yeah, I guess that way with snow, right? Like I got my license in December, right? And
yeah.
First thing they throw you in the car. And you're like, all right, go for it. And all right, guess I'm driving on snow.
Yeah, shoot, man. Did everything in the snow. You wear sandals in the snow. You wear shorts in the snow, or not snow, rain. You wear sandals in the rain, shorts in the rain, short sleeves in the rain. Because if you don't wear it in the rain, you never get to wear it here.
Yeah, but see, I think with the snow, what I like is I wear snow pants. Like even if there's just a little bit of snow, I'll throw snow pants on because I can wear sweats underneath and it's just comfy and I'm warm.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing about snow is it's always cold when it's snowing. Here it rains, but it's 45 degrees in rain, which is relatively kind of warm, compared to, you'll have a December day where it's 45 and it's raining, but shoot, it's not 45 and raining where you're at.
No, I think it's like 20 degrees today and just piss cold. And piss
Yeah.
is warm. So fucking sucks, is what I mean. Like, you get that, and I walk a block from the parking garage to where I work, and it's just a bitch because the way the Billings downtown is just each road is a funnel of wind because
Mhm.
out in eastern Montana it's just nothing but wind, and you just get that cold wind blowing on you in the shade because these buildings, and that you don't get the radiant heat from the sun, and it just sucks. And I'm over it. I'm over the cold. Send me to Hawaii.
I feel you there. I feel you there.
Right.
But
But we have something special for our listeners today. Another one of the Wandering Ways top 5. And I'm excited. I don't know if you're excited.
yeah, no, it is exciting to have a new little top 5 to go through. A couple weeks ago, we brought all of you beautiful people our top 5 parks
In
and
North America.
in North America. Well, that's because we've only ever been to North America.
Right. They don't need to know that.
Well, now
Don't
they do.
don't give them ammo.
But now we're going to keep rolling with this top 5 thing because we think it would be a lot of fun to do because it's fun to go look back at the stuff we've done, as well as maybe inspire you guys to do one of these hikes because we make it sound pretty sweet. Hopefully you're in the areas where these hikes are. If you're in Florida listening to this, you're probably going to have a tough time doing a hike that maybe is in the state of Washington. So
Well, what I like about it, and you say it right there, we're doing our top 5 hikes, our favorite hikes that we've done. We've done some of them together, we've done some of them by ourselves, we've done some of them with other people, and we've even gone back to some of these. And I really think what's really cool about it is we can share this with you guys, and we can share it with the world. And this is in the 5 years of us really being active, going out in nature and doing these things and having a great time. We can share that with you. We can share with you our top 5 and why they're our top 5, and maybe inspire some of you to check them out and do them yourselves. You're like, hey, I'm going to Zion National Park and Angel's Landing. I want to hear about it. I want to learn about it. So, you might hear that today. You might not, we'll see.
yeah, yeah. And I know after this episode gets published and all of you beautiful people listen to it, I 100% know you guys are going to be writing in with this question. So I'm just going to answer it right now. No one saw Bigfoot on any of these hikes. It
We
was a
tried.
rumor. We tried. We went out looking, but no Bigfoot was spotted on these hikes. So you can save the write-in questions now, even though we do appreciate all of the write-in questions.
We really do. And,
But there is no Bigfoot.
you have questions, where you to hit it is wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST @gmail.com. That is wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. You'll get me and Mark. We'll respond within minutes because we'll be that excited. And maybe we'll bring it up on the show here and talk about it. If you have questions, we love hearing them. So thank you.
Yeah, if you got questions, comments, send them in. We'll read them out on the podcast. I would love to get a little fan segment going. So please, if you got questions for us or comments or whatever, send them in. We'll give them a read because it'll be fun.
And Bigfoot stories. If you just have like a
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
short little paragraph, and username Squirtle84, and we'll say it on the podcast here, and we'll say saw Bigfoot in the redwoods. He was climbing a tree, and that's it. That's all the story says. We'll share it here with everyone else. We'll document it.
yeah, yeah. You know what I just realized as we're sitting here? What I forgot today.
Well,
Forgot
what did you forget today?
my ukulele.
Oh no. Well, maybe we take a little break and then we'll get right back into it here with
No, we don't. We can't.
okay.
I feel naked without it.
Well, I was using that as a way to transition.
No, let's get we don't have to hear my sad story about not having my ukulele. We can just jump in to top 5 parks because I think it's going to take a while and it's exciting to listen to and talk about.
Yeah, no, I think our top 5 hikes are definitely. We're going to sit there and we're going to wander our way up the trail on some of them and tell these stories and tell the cool stories we had along the way. I think so.
Yeah,
I
so
think number
you want to start it off with your number 5?
Yeah, I can. My number 5's Delicate Arch, and I believe you've seen Delicate Arch before. When we did this hike in 2019. It was the first time I ever did it, the only time I've ever done it, and we did it in May. It was beautiful. It was something that I wasn't expecting. Some people says it looks nothing like the license plate. I beg to differ. It looks just like the license plate, if not better, because you have the beautiful mountains in the background. And I did not know that was there, and that really got me going. I really like mountains. I like scenery, so it was exciting. And just the hike itself, it was a beautiful day. I think it was like 70s, 80s. It wasn't hot, and people in Arches say that place gets real hot. So I was
Yeah.
blessed to have that.
Yeah, it is kind of um it is a lot cooler of a hike than I think people give it credit for.
Well,
Um
it's not too difficult.
no.
Uh, the only thing that I think that truly would make it difficult is if it was a hot day and you're going to have heat stroke or you don't have enough water because there is no shade on it,
Yeah.
and you're just walking over these rocks in the desert, and some of them are smooth and just easy to walk up. And the trail, what I thought was really interesting to me, and it's because I grew up in the mountains, is when you're walking in the desert, there's no like true path or trail to walk on. So sometimes you're just walking right over this like red rock of Utah, I guess, and it's
Yeah.
just beautiful. And you got to follow these stones people put up, and you see stacked rocks that's telling you which way the path's going. And in the desert, you don't want to touch those or move those because the hikers need them.
Yeah.
And it's not like a nice cut trail in like the Rocky Mountains that you get in some of these places.
No, that's true. That's the cool part about like doing the hikes in like Arches National Park and even Canyonlands National Park. You get the little stacked rocks.
Oh yeah, and I mean we saw them too in Capitol Reef when we did I
Yeah,
want to
that's
say it
true.
was the Natural Bridge or one of those
Mhm.
bridges that they had there.
Yeah.
But
The one thing about Delicate Arch that gets me every time is I desperately just think there should be a tire swing on it, just hanging down right at the bottom.
I don't, because that would probably ruin it.
Oh, it 100% would. But every time
And
I
you,
see it, I just go, if I could get a tire swing and just swing for like a good solid 30 minutes, I'd be a pretty happy camper.
well, and what I like is the first photo you shared. If you're our YouTube watchers and watching this on the Quartz Lake Productions YouTube page, um, it just drops off into a cliff, and there's a
Yeah.
nice bowl down below it, and just the way the wind swirled and created this like canyon and arch and bowl, and how it did it and made it happen. You can really sit there and just like see how the wind did it. But it's just beautiful and gorgeous. And we sat there, had lunch, and there's other people there. But there wasn't a lot of people to the point where you like look at our photos. It looks like it's just us there. Um,
Yeah.
but there was quite a bit, and people are very respectful in that area. It was a good time to go. And if you haven't been to Arches National Park in Utah, right, just right outside Moab, go. It's easy if you are, just viewing from the road, or if you want to do hikes. There's some easy hikes, there's some hard hikes, but it is a beautiful park. It is a cool park. It is an interesting park, and recommend going. And that's why this hike makes my top 5, because I look at my top 5 and say, I want to go back and do that again. And especially for me, it's like I want to show someone that, who am I going to show the Delicate Arch to?
Yeah, I feel you
And
there.
I look at my list. I say anybody, anybody that wants to see it, I'll take you, because it was a cool hike. I enjoyed it. I loved it.
No, I dig that. It's a solid hike. It does not crack my top 5.
That's fine.
but it is. I'd say it's honorable mention for sure. My wandering into my number 5. Actually, I'm not going to talk too much about it because it shows up later in your top 5.
Oh no.
I know, so it's a little bit of a spoiler, but we're going to spoiler when it shows for you. But it's Angel's Landing in Zion.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a fantastic hike. It is everything that I wanted it to be. And honestly, if it wasn't really for this one thing, it probably would be my top 3. But because of this one thing, it started to bump, and I almost bumped it out of my top 5 because of
Oh
it.
wow.
Yeah. But
It's
it's
the
the
people, isn't
crowds. It's the
it?
crowds. It is. There are just too many people doing this hike to where I don't know how they don't have like 50 plus deaths there, you know?
I
It is.
agree because the safety factor on
Yeah.
this hike makes it less enjoyable because it's like I want to enjoy the views, not fucking fear for my life because I'm gonna fall off this thing because you got like we had some dumb kids run up from behind us and like they almost knocked some people over and it's like at least they did it in a safer area, but I'm talking it's just you in a chain and 1,000 foot drop on each side.
Yeah. It's you have an array of people that do this, and then people don't go prepared for this hike. You need
Mhm.
to make sure you have good shoes, sticky, sturdy shoes if you're going to do this. There were a ton of people that went up it that didn't have it. Then you'll get people that are really impatient and they just start bulldozing through, even in spots that you should not. It's single file line, and it's not a gradual little slip off. No, it's a quick one-way ticket down to the bottom of the canyon at spots. And so you run into the stress of your safety, and then you worry about other people at the same time while you're doing this hike. And it made it started, that's why it dropped out. But as we'll talk about and show later, the view is phenomenal when you get up there. I understand why there's so many people doing this hike.
I totally get it. I agree. And yeah, I want to say I was watching a national park documentary and they talk about Angel's Landing specifically and the fact that like I think it's claimed like 4 to 10 deaths, in the last like 15 years.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, I
Yeah.
see why.
Yeah. But
Like you get it.
that's why it's bumping out of my top, or bumped down to number 5. I'll go into why I enjoy it so much when we talk about it later.
Right. We'll use the number 5 because it's negative in this case. And
So,
when we get up to mine, we'll talk about the positive. Because for me, I had a great time on that hike. But we'll talk more later.
yeah, go into your number 4, my guy.
Number 4, and this one's a very sentimental number 4, and the reasons for that it's the Blue Pool in Oregon. It's a really cool hike. It was when I was living with you in college, and literally one weekend you're like, "Hey, there's this place in Central Oregon called the Blue Pool. Do you want to go?"
I
And I was like,
remember
"I'm living on a futon in your living room," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Don't got nothing better to do." And sure enough, we got out there and I think we took the long hike, which I'm really glad we did. We
that.
almost took like the 20-mile hike,
Yeah.
being dumb because this was one of our first times just doing this together. This is when I think we first we weren't serious about this kind of stuff
No.
quite then, but we were getting into it, and it was worth the hike. It was beautiful. The water is just so blue. When you take pictures of this place, it's the no filter kind of blue that you're like, how did you get that? And it's like the
Yeah.
creator gave it to us,
It it is a crazy blue. It really is a crazy blue. No, I
Yeah.
remember when we decided to do this hike because it was at like kind of the beginning of when we started getting into this stuff, but it was Yeah, I asked you if you wanted to go to this blue pool, and you said yeah. We just hopped in the car. I didn't even know where the trailhead was. I just
No,
said,
it was weird. Like
yeah,
there's not even really a true trailhead from my understanding of this hike. You've done it multiple times since, so
yeah.
you
I
probably
think
found
there,
that.
I think there is an actual trailhead. I still haven't found it, which is fine. I like doing the one that we did because there's waterfalls.
Exactly. But I love the one we did because you go through like two parking areas on your way where like other people park and get out to do the hike. So
Yeah,
it's all right. I mean, you're walking along, I think is it the Mackenzie River?
yeah. It's the
And
Mackenzie
it's
River.
beautiful river in Oregon. You got the greens, the mosses growing right there, the blue water, and I want to say it's like a spring of sorts because it just pops up and the way it feeds the river is just gorgeous. And I I love it. I like it because it got me going down a path during a negative time in my life that I think really helped me because it kept something positive always going. It was like, oh, look forward to this hike, look forward to the next thing. And it was one of those weekends where it's like I think I had other plans and they changed, and it was like, sure, going to happen, and
Yeah.
we did it. I'm super excited we did it. It was really cool. um I mean, have you've done this one like 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, I've done this one not I think only 3 times I've done it. One of the times I actually jumped into the water.
Oh, I heard it was cold.
It is. It's very and we did it in
Like
like
March.
no, we did it in like November.
Oh, well, same thing, just the
Yeah.
other way.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
cuz it was like, we had like fall colors kind of on the hike. Um and oh man, it was cold. It was cold for sure. I
I
jumped
love that.
in with Matt Buddy, you know.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. He said, "Man, some of the coldest water he ever jumped in." And
It
yeah,
is.
I mean, it's cool. Go. If you're in Oregon, check it out. You can Google it. The blue pool, Tamaloloch.
Yeah,
Um,
it's something. It's known as the Blue Pool, and I mean, even the pictures we kind of showed. There's one picture that kind of does it justice of in the water, but for the people listening to understand this color of blue, um,
the Twitter logo,
yeah, except
like
it's kind of a
the
little bit darker than that,
yeah,
but I mean, it is blue.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's not like when yeah, as a kid you draw water as blue, right? And that's not really what the color of water is, but no, this stuff is like blue.
So it is. It really is the color of water
Yeah,
without
true.
without the pollution.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
That's why, I mean, that's why it's number four. I mean, and like I said, it's more sentimental because I think
Yeah.
I mean, the next day we went right back to that area and just said, let's go up this logging road. And we decided to hike up this waterfall thing we found on the side
Yeah.
of the road. And that was fun too. So I
Yeah,
think
we
it's now
didn't we
for,
didn't do a lot of planning back then. It was just hop in the car and go.
but that was fun. It worked.
Oh, it's great. I still sometimes just hop in the car and go and say, hope it
Exactly.
works out.
That's what I did this last weekend.
Yeah.
Get in the car, just you will find the destination.
Yeah, the destination finds you.
Exactly. And I think that's why the blue pool found us.
Yeah.
What's your number four?
Number 4 for me is the South Sister.
Oh, okay.
The South Sister of Oregon. The main reason for this one for me is this got me into mountain climbing. I love climbing a mountain, and now that's like all I really ever want to do. I want to try and find mountains to climb because it's amazing. So I'm going to bring up a picture of what's considered the false summit at the South Sister. If you go up, honestly, this is a hike most people can do because it's not a technical climb. You just go to a trailhead, and it's just a really, really steep, 6 miles of up. It's 6 miles up and then it's 6 miles down. But it's a doozy. You'll get a good solid workout in. If you're curious, there is a video of this hike, at least I believe, on our YouTube page, Quartz Lake Productions. Hit it up. It's also where the video portion of this podcast is. So if you want to listen to our sweet, sweet voices and also watch the video, that's
And see our ugly faces.
I said voice. See, I didn't mention the face. They were listening to our sweet voices now, but you can get it with the pictures too.
Right.
But
Oh, look beautiful.
no, it's phenomenal. It's not until you get up to like the top, and I've been blessed to have clear days the times I've had it, but
Wow.
it is you get to feel like you're really in some mountains. You're not in like Rocky Mountains. You're not in anything like that. You're in the Cascades, which is this picture I got up now, which is looking north. So you can see the middle sister and north sister close to us. And then that's three fingered Jack, I believe, in between the sisters, and then Jefferson beyond that one.
That is Jefferson, right? It's behind the North Sister on the right there.
Yeah.
Just kind of faintly you can see it. That's cool. That's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah. And this is I've done that hike twice now. This picture's from the second time that I did it. The very first time I did it, there was no clouds. This actually has some fire smoke in it.
mm,
But there was nothing. I mean, and I could see all the way into the state of Washington, into Mount Adams.
wow, that is
From here.
beautiful.
It is incredible to get up there and just see, you see a mountain range, just how they sit in a line, which you can get the picture kind of from here, how it's just bam, 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 a line of these mountains. And you get it going the other way too, it's incredible.
What I find really cool about that, the way you're saying, is these ones, like if you're unfamiliar with the Cascade Mountains that run up and down Washington, Oregon, into Northern California, um, I think actually even up into Canada,
Yeah.
they are volcanoes. So they're essentially they're a part of that Ring of Fire and that San Andreas Fault. They're all a part of that. And volcano mountains, like these are your, two flat sides coming together, building a triangle. They're unlike like you said, unlike the Rocky Mountains where they're kind of jagged and whatnot and look like teeth sometimes.
Yeah.
These ones are your perfect points. And
yeah, they're really kind of standalone mountains in a way.
yes.
They're like its own little peak, and then a little bit ways away is it's another little peak. So that's what kind of makes the Cascades cool. Is the separation between them. Like the three sisters are very close together, but even them those three peaks have some distance between them.
Oh yeah, no, and you can see in your photo here. I mean that's a tall mountain, so you got to do the length and size and
yeah, right.
But definitely, I mean that's one. I mean you and Tyler tried to do it, but the fire smokes out your way wasn't good, and definitely one. I mean I take my time on like any elevation gain hikes. I just I'm not going to strain my body. I'm not going to stress my body out. I'm just going to take my time and enjoy the hike. Some people like to race up the mountain. I've seen people do that. Matt's that way because it's like there's a destination, I have to reach it. For me, my destination is the journey. So, I like to stop, take some pictures, look around, look for Bigfoot, and just continue on the journey, continue on the path. And we did that in Olympics. So,
I mean, this one, you could just race up and down. I mean, if you're looking for a fantastic workout and you're in the Bend area, you can race up and down that, and there's a hell of a workout for you that day, and you can make it back. You can get in the morning, you'll make it by the afternoon kickoffs for NFL Sunday.
look at you.
But you could also, if you just wanted to take your time, you very well could with that hike as well.
Yeah, no, I since you enjoy it, it's your number 4. I think we'll probably do it. I think I'll probably end up doing it because you'll probably want to do it again.
Oh heck yeah! You get it if you get it on a clear day. It's phenomenal. It really is.
I say let's make it happen one of these times.
I'm with you. That brings us number 3. Where are we at for you?
Well, number 3, we're going to go back to your number 5, but up to my number 3, but back to your number 5, Angel's Landing. So we might spend a little extra time talking about it because we didn't talk about it too much when you brought it up. But for me, again, it is one of the most immaculate views I have ever seen in my life. When you are in Zion National Park, standing on the top of this mountain, and the way it's peeks out into this valley here, and you can look right down the valley, right down the river, and just see the Valley of the Kings, I think is what they call it, and just gorgeous, beautiful Zion National Park. And I don't know, I mean, the people were a lot, but I think partly what helps this come down to my number 3 is the fact that there was so many people. So even though it's a lot of elevation gain, I never truly felt tired on the hike until after the hike. I remember sitting down, we there's a little brewery right down there at that little town at the end of Zion, and at the opening, at the entrance there, and just sitting down and having, I think, our lunch or dinner and enjoying the view, looking back up the valley, looking back up where we were just at. And I don't know, that's when the tiredness kicked in and my legs like, wow, I was actually sore. And I didn't feel that on the way up. The views are crazy. I think the chance of dying was really high. So I think that's why it's a top 3 for me. Cause it's like one false step, one nutty person, you're dead.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. Like it's,
Yeah.
I have a video of where you're on both sides, you're like, oh, look at that. Okay. Look at that.
Yeah, no. I mean, the one I talked about the people, but when you get to like the point of this picture, when you get to this point, then it really kind of spaces out, So you have like this, it bottlenecks up to this like landing, which is probably why they call it that. And then then you don't feel the same kind of stress of yourself or other people up there. You can sit and enjoy this amazing view when you're doing it.
And we did. I mean, we sat there, we had our lunch, took our photos, talked, looked around, did some people watching because that's always fun. And
yeah, always.
I mean, there was some spots on this hike that kind of got a little like on the landing part, sorry, that got a little even sketchy for some of the people trying to take like their, look at my photo standing out here, and it's like, oh, yeah. I wouldn't do that if I were you. But definitely, if you are able-bodied, not afraid of heights, do this. I mean, like that's where we saw like that lady she was too afraid at the very beginning of this hike.
Yeah.
Where it was like, nah, like don't even go, like get down. Because I mean, if you're looking at the video right now on YouTube, you can see the little bottleneck. You walk up that little ridge. You're on this little tiny ridge walking up to the very top of this like mound, but it's more of a mountain, and
yeah,
you're on top, and it's just, I don't know, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
gorgeous.
The picture we got up right now, you're looking up at the landing, and it's important to note at the time of taking this picture, we're already been kind of going on this little spine ridge, and you can get a kind of a decent look of it as it's going up. That's relatively good distance of space on this hike when it comes to it. Like it's in the picture, that's when you're feeling pretty good. Most like the other stuff that you see, it can get pretty dicey at times, which that does add to the thrill of it for sure. You're scaling the side or the top of this little ridge line.
Well, and the part you're talking about right now where we're stopped at, I would call it's a good halfway point from the real Angel's Landing hike, because you hike up to like a little bathroom area where there's people hanging out waiting. There's a ton of people in this area.
Yeah.
And it's almost again like another false summit of the sort where there are like that's another turnaround point for people. Like it's another kind of opening area, and then they see this little spine you have to walk up and keep going to get to the end. And I don't. It's just again the people kind of. It's scary. If be prepared. If you're not into that, don't go. If you're into that, go. But
Yeah,
be
100%.
prepared.
No, yeah, no, 100% there. But I there's a lot of people and all that, but it is a really cool view, and it is amazing to see that view for sure. I mean, I talk about the awe factor all the time. That hike has the awe factor for sure.
The whole time too. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're when you're even walking up that first leg to that little like rest stop that I was talking about, that's I mean that's very safe, easy. There's parts where that path I think is even kind of paved,
Mhm.
and you're walking up, and it's nice, easy. You see a lot of families doing it, and then you get to this spot, and it's almost like decision time,
Yeah.
and it's cool. I say go. I say do it. Definitely, that's why it's in my top three because I want to go back. I want to go back with less people. I want to go back with other people. I look at people like my brother Tyler. I look at like I would say Thea, but I think she'd be a little too afraid. Um, and even my family, like just like, hey guys, I would love to take you up this, and definitely if you're in Utah, you're in Zion, do it if you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Um Going into my number 3, uh we're going to go back to the Great Arches National Park to
Ooh.
Double O Arch. Um, it was the very first time I went to Arches. Back, I think it was like 2017,
Yep.
16, 17, something like that.
2017. That's when because I was living in Cincinnati when you did this big road trip. I remember things.
Yeah, so 2017, I went out with my buddy Vince. We went all the way, drive all the way until you can't drive anymore in Arches. And we did the double O, which you go by the landscape arch, which is a cool arch in itself. But then when you get past there, you get into that like wandering desert where you really feel like you're just hiking out in the middle of the desert. There's nobody around really. You got to use the stacked rocks to find your way. I mean, there was actually one point where Vince and I got lost. We didn't know where we lost the stacked rocks. Luckily, we met up with this girl. I forget her name, but I remember calling her Yukon because she was from Connecticut. Uh, Found her, who was happened to be lost as well. So, and then we found our way to the arch, which is super cool. Before you get to the arch, you do get to see, and I'm going to show a picture of the arch first, what the double O arch is. And it's basically double O's, right? You have a small O below and then a O up above it. And the smaller one, I mean, you can go right up into it. I have a video of me under it where I'm like got my GoPro, you can see him under it. Then I like do a 180, and it's kind of a cool little effect in
Oh,
it.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a cool little spot to just like we hung out for a while. There are other arches that you can like go and see. We went to one, I think it's like the Navajo Arch too, which was a super cool arch as well over there. So I mean, there's just a lot on this hike that you can do and see along the way. And I mean, there's also this canyon that you walk right along. And this hike does have kind of like the double ridge of like Angel's Landing and part of it. It's not as tight, so you're not worried about it like nearly as much. But I mean, you do get to see the like vastness of this desert and the rocks when you're out there.
I love that about arches. I mean personally, I mean I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, so I was a desert kid, I guess. When I was little, I lived there for about 10 years, and I like the red rocks. I like the desert feeling. I like the warmth. I like the views. Arches definitely had that for me, and I really want to go back because what I like about Arches is you can take anyone there. Like I could take Thea, and really, the biggest hike we do is maybe a mile. Or you can, get on a desert, go to the desert on a horse with no name and get lost like Mark and
Yeah.
be out here. I think honestly, like Arches is a really cool park for that, and it makes me think of uh, the the guy who went to Canyonlands and got his arm trapped in a boulder in the desert, and he had to cut it off to like free himself. And he ended up doing that and surviving and living. And there's a movie about his life and what he went through during that moment. And I look at that because the desert is one of those places. You need to be smart in the desert. You need to have water in the desert. You need to really kind of know where you're at, because you can get lost real quick and real easy. And the way that heat gets to you, it starts playing games with your mind. That's the worst part. It could be a 3-mile hike. It could be a 2-mile hike. And this stuff happens to people. You got to be very smart and careful, because I think that's the scary part about the desert is you don't think that way because you're like, oh, it's just over there.
Yeah.
But just over there can get you over here.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And I think that's kind of the part that made me enjoy this hike specifically. But yeah. But to keep things moving, what's your number two favorite hike for Mr. Zach Gray?
My number 2 hike, and this one is one I have probably done a handful of times, and I'm thinking like 5, so a handful. But it is the only Logan's Pass hike to Hidden Lake in good old Glacier National Park, home of the Blackfeet Indians. And I love Glacier Park. I love Logan's Pass. And to me, it is that iconic hike. You go to Yellowstone Park, you take people to Old Faithful because it's a must. You take people to Logan's Pass because it's a must. And what I like about this hike is there's so much on it that I've experienced and that I've gotten to do. It's just, I don't know. I love it. The first time me and Mark did it together, we walked all the way down to the bottom of Hidden Lake, which I believe was 6 miles down and then 6 miles back, because it's like 3 to the lookout and 3 down. And you're walking straight down to Hidden Lake. But when you get down there, it's you and maybe 2 other hikers that decided to do the hike, is what it feels like. Because up top, that's where, the majority of the tourists that are able-bodied to do this hike are doing it, and what I like is when you get to the top, that's where the mountain goats hang out. So you can get really cool mountain goat pictures, really cool mountain goat experiences. I've seen marmots in the area, like big old, guys in, rock chucks for some of you East Coasters is what you would call them. They're cousins of the, woodchuck, but we call them like yellow belly marmots out here. And they're awesome. You can play around with them. You have the ground squirrels. That's where we saw a grizzly bear, and I actually have that photo I can share with the YouTube folk.
Yeah, no, Logan's Pass, it's a cool hike. I've done it 3 times now. The first time, no snow whatsoever. Second time, a lot of snow, still doable and still a ton of fun too.
Yeah.
Even though there was a plethora of snow for sure. But it's a good one. It's a good one for anybody. If you're looking for a hike, you're wanting to get out, I think most people can actually do this one.
Yes, and I think a lot do when they're in the park. I've been up to Logan's Pass before when they've had too much bear activity to where they close it. But that's usually early on in the season when there's still a lot of snow.
Yeah.
First time I did it with you, it was later in the season, so that's where we got to see this bear, and there was no snow really. But then I went with Thea, you, Vince, and Phil, and we literally climbed up the side of a glacier here. And
Yeah.
we were wearing flip flops because we're like, oh, it's an easy hike. Like we've done it before.
Yeah. And
But
then,
sure enough, it was this. And I mean, it was a warm day. So, we're in tank tops and short sleeve shirts, but you're walking in the snow. So your feet are getting cold. And
yeah.
definitely a cool experience, a fun experience. Um, Beautiful like views. And I mean, you have some as well that I'll let you share. But great
Yeah.
views all around of this glacier park. You really get the feel for what they mean when the U-shaped valleys. You get the wildlife, bighorn sheep. I mean, that's the first place I saw two rams going at it, just ramming each other head on, and that was in August. Great time to go to see them in rut. When the males are button heads. And there's this picture of you looking out. That's St. Mary's Lake down there. There was actually a forest fire when we went, which pushed that bear towards us. But definitely just look at this beautiful Glacier National Park.
Yeah. I mean, you can really, you get a feel for Glacier when you're up and you do this hike. You get the feel, going down to Hidden Lake, it's got the like kind of bowl feel of Glacier to a lake that you like. And then you're up in the mountains. So I mean, you get all of the vast being up in the high mountains kind of feel. So I mean, if you're looking to get that Glacier feel, Logan's Pass for sure.
Oh, and I mean, the going to the Sun Road, the journey to Logan's Pass is also just beautiful and gorgeous. And if you really want to feel like you're on top of the world, I think that's a place that can give you that feeling. And even if you're in a wheelchair or unable to do a hike like this, you still get that feeling at Logan's Pass. They have a beautiful visitor center there. It talks about the wildflowers and some of the wildlife. They have the rams that hang out right there by the visitor center. Every once in a while, you can catch the big, not bighorn sheep, but the mountain goats as well, right down in that little area. And that's also the trailhead for the high the Highlands hike,
The Highline, yeah. It's one
Highline
of the
hike.
trailheads. The Highline's just a one-way type of deal. So
Yeah,
it is one of the two trailheads for that hike.
that's definitely a hike I want to do, and that one probably would crack my top 5. But we were unable to do it thanks to good old COVID. But
Yeah.
that's life. We'll probably end up doing it again. Probably going to do it a chalet and all that in Glacier, because Glacier is one of those places that you get these beautiful views, you get the feel for what Glacier is, and you I don't. There's just a peacefulness to Glacier for me. Even when they're like Logan's Pass has a lot of visitors. Same with West Glacier and like Lake McDonald and Apgar and those areas. You have a lot of visitors, but everyone's quiet and peaceful and taking it all in, especially when you're up at Logan's Pass. And the only time I really have issues with people up there is when they're messing with the goats or the parking lot, because they want your spot, but you just got done doing a 6-mile hike and you want to fucking relax.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a bummer part about being up there.
But that's that. I mean, it's a special place. It's one of those places I'll keep going back to, till the end of my days, and that's why it's number 2 for me. So,
I dig it.
what about you? What makes Mark go 1, 2?
My number 2. We have talked about it before on a previous podcast episode. The reason why this one is number 2 for me is how tricky of a navigation this is. So to just get down to it, it's getting to my favorite tree, Hyperion. Number 2 favorite hikes, because it took me 3 times to find this beautiful, majestic tree. And it is such a secret kind of deal. There is no path to it. You go to the visitor center and say, hey, how's the path to Hyperion? They'll say there's no actual way to get Hyperion. They'll say, well, I know where it is. They don't even tell you where it is. You have to know how to get there and what you're looking for and all that.
I like that. I really like the secrecy of the people saying we don't want to make a big thing about this tree, even though it is a big thing. We have it. It's more
Mhm.
of a respect. And wow, this, I mean, look at this picture.
Yeah, so I got a picture of it. And I mean, again, because it's not a path, not anything, there is no like little sign at the bottom that says this is Hyperion. You have to go off of other people that have done the hike, and people only take pictures of the tree. There's no pictures of how to do the hike. So I'm not going to talk about the hike itself to it, but part of the reason I like this hike, other than the secrecy of it, is you do get the feeling that you're going off and you're going to discover something new or something exciting, that secretive feel, because you're just walking through forest basically to get to this tree. I mean, shoot, it took me 3 times. The first time got pretty close, realized that there was too much water to cross this, like they call it a creek, it's a river, but they call it a creek, but it's a river. So then I tried going a couple weeks later. I took a different route, ran into the same issue. So, you know, and that one was a lot longer of a route too. That was like a 24-mile round tripper.
Wow.
Yeah. And then uh when I finally got to see it, I had to wait like, I think it was like a month and a half after the time I went. And I said, all right, I'm gonna go. I had my notes written down, like what I'm supposed to look for, and I'm like, okay. I'm the gal I was with when I found it, she was ahead of me. She walked right past it. I said, whoa, whoa, there it is. And sure enough, there's Hyperion with all her beauty. I do have like a vertical panorama of it, which I mean, it, I don't know, you don't really get the feel of this tree, but it's like you see the top and bottom of it in one picture, which I don't know if anybody out there knows. It's hard to take a picture of like a 300 plus foot tree.
You need a super wide angle lens
Yeah.
and to be out of the forest. But I think your pictures do a good job of explaining it, showing it. I mean, I think the thing about the redwoods that I like is you need to just go, because one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard about the redwoods is, if you've seen them, you'd hug them too.
Yeah, right.
Like you would get it. And it's like, all right, like you need that understanding.
No, it really is. It really is. You understand why there's tree huggers.
Seriously, that's the first thing you do is you put your arms out to see how wide it is. So just go touch the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great number two.
Yeah. Let's get on. Let's get to the big one, the moment we've all been waiting for today. Number one favorite hikes. What do we got, Mr. Zachary?
My number one favorite hike, it is Mystic Lake hike. It is outside of, I'm gonna go Nye, Montana, population unknown. I think the actual population is like 3, but it is in the middle of nowhere, Montana, in the Beartooths. The first picture I'm showing for the YouTube watchers is what is called West Rosebud Lake. Um, it is one of your typical Montana mountain lakes. Beautiful fish. If you're into fishing, you can catch your brown trout, your brook trout. Even there's some golden trout up in Mystic, and it is just pristine. As a child, we would go. It would be like Mother's Day weekend, Father's Day weekend. We're going to go fishing. This was one of those places. I've been here a handful of times, and you start the hike at this lake, and you start kind of in the forest and you walk, and then all of a sudden you're climbing up into the side of the mountain here, and you hit these switchbacks. And there was a guy, I did this hike with our guest Ranger Alexander when he was living out here in Montana, and he there was a guy who had a heart attack and actually died and
Oh,
we passed him on the trail. So it kind of there's enough elevation game to create some stress. And what sucks is this guy was like able-bodied and healthy, and he had this accident. But it's a good one. It's a good one because it's like 3 miles in, and you can really gauge it for other hikes. It can tell you where your body's at. Maybe I should work out a little bit more. Or, okay, I should be good to do some elevation gain. So this, like I said, this first picture here you're looking at, it's a beautiful spring day in Montana, and just kind of the mountains that are lit up in the background there. That is where Mystic Lake sits, and it is just gorgeous. It is beautiful mountain lake.
yeah.
Not a lot of people. It goes back further. There's other lakes further back. I think Silver Lake is one of them. You have all the mountain goats and stuff that people hear about. I've never seen them back here, but people talk about them. The Beartooth mountain goats aren't as easy as the Glacier mountain goats to find, but I've been lucky to run into them once or twice. Northwest Energy actually built a dam on this lake to help with electrical to get electricity, I guess. But
Yeah.
it is a beautiful lake, beautiful hike, wildflowers. I've had wild raspberries on this hike that I found and eaten. Um, when you get up there and you can just sit down by this lake, you get it, and you feel like this is your true one of your Montana just lakes in the Beartooth that I love. And I've done this hike. I try and do it once a year. I've probably done it, a good 7-8 times. The first time I did it, I was in the 8th grade. I did it with my dad and his friend, and well, I guess my friend from New Mexico, and they came up and visited us. And I always tell you when I do this hike, I always say I want to take you to it because
Mhm.
it is just pristine. You have the beautiful mountain wildflowers, and I love it.
No, it's gorgeous. The pictures you showed, they're gorgeous. You know, I mean, looking at it, my only one bummer would be the dam, and that's just because it's taken away of the natural. But I mean, even with it, holy cats, man. I mean,
Well, there's not a lot. Like that's it. The dam, like that's it. Is just that little dam. Um, so it's not too bad of a like eyesore.
yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, I say bummer, but it's a small bummer.
yes.
But you're still looking at it, and I mean, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely
Yeah.
phenomenal to see you're up in the mountains. It's the mountain lake. It's what you want out of a mountain lake. Everything you got right there.
Well, and for you fly fishers, any of you guys fly fishing, like the one thing I will say about that dam is it creates a nice little deep pocket. And when me and Tyler did it this summer, sure enough, I saw a good 18, 24-inch brown trout swimming right in that little area. And that's how clear the water is. You can see the fish swimming when you're up on top where that picture's
Yeah.
from. Because you walk, you kind of summit above the lake and then you walk down to it. And when you're going down to it, you can really start to see the fish swimming like right next, and it's just they're all natural, all wild, and it's just go if you're in Montana, go through Fishtail, Montana, hang a left, you'll see the sign.
I dig it. I love it. Um, Going into my number one top hike that I've done. Um, it's another summit, beautiful mountain summit. This one is of Mount St. Helens. I got to do this one a few years back, and it did not disappoint. You have to
For
get
some,
permit to get up to it. They limit the number of people that go, but yeah, it's phenomenal. And if you're unfamiliar with Mount St. Helens, there was the huge volcano eruption. We
in the
talked
80s.
about volcanoes earlier. Um, and I mean, if you're looking at this picture, you see kind of a bowl and it shoots out. That's where the explosion went. The explosion caused this massive dome that we have, kind of bowl now that they have there. And even it's still active volcano. If in the picture you're gonna see the like lava dome, and you can see the heat steam in the picture that I have up. And I mean, you can see it when you get up there. You see it kind of steaming. It's super cool. Most of this hike was in snow. You had to get some crampons on and trudge your way up. I mean, if you did it in August, I don't think you would have the snow. But I did this in May, early May, and yeah, I had a ton of snow. The view was phenomenal. Couldn't have asked for a better day to do it. And then, the fun did not stop at the summit. The fun did not stop at the summit. Because as I'm going up, I see all these little canals in the snow, like little, I'm going to just ruin what it is, slides basically. And once you get to the top and you slide down, and like, I got done and on my way down, it was like a 2.5, 3 mile slide. you know, it was such a blast because it takes you forever to hike up it. Like, you're going in the snow, you're looking at probably like 2 hour and a half, 2 hours to do it up, right? It
Oh, that's
takes
not bad.
takes you 30 minutes to get down, and you don't even like walk, you just fly down this thing. And I had no idea I could do this. Cool thing, got up there, some guy brought a snowboard and snowboarded down, you know which
Well,
was
hey, if we do this, those little foam sleds that like with that little plastic liner that they have on them.
yeah,
Just tie, those weigh a couple ounces. Throw that on the backpack, and we'll just take those next time.
dude, garbage bag, just take a garbage bag. That's what
I'm going to do tricks, man. We're going to make some jumps. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah. Well, there is a video of this also on the YouTube page, Quartz Lake Productions. Check that one out for sure, because there is a part in the video where I'm like sliding. I like sitting up at this top, and then I just see me just start sliding down. It's a ton of fun to slide all the way down. This one again, not a technical hike, so as long as you have the body and conditioning to climb uphill for, I think it's honestly, I think it's similar distance as South Sister. It's 6 up, 6 down type of deal. But shoot, it was so much fun to do this. Makes me want to do more mountains. So
Right?
I'm always looking for my next summit.
You have to come out here and do the tallest peak in Montana.
Yeah, no, I want to get I want to do a technical hike for sure, and then I want to start doing some 14ers. I got to find myself a 14er.
Well, this guy and his 14ers, huh?
That's the big thing, man.
No, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our top 5 for everybody listening. It's the top 5. We've done so many hikes. There's so many awesome. This could change a year from now.
It will change from a year from now because that's how many fun adventures we have planned.
Yeah, for sure. But we do this because we want to get everybody trying to get out there, enjoy nature as it is. It's phenomenal.
Well, if you have questions about these hikes, and about some of the stuff we said, please again shoot us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Find us on our socials. Reverend Marcus across all boards. Zach Gray. Whatever else you want to find me, go ahead and just find me. But it's cool. I mean, these are fun places. We like them a lot. If you have questions about them that, hey, what do you recommend? How do you do this? We're happy to answer them. So
yeah, again, hit us up at Wandering Ways Podcast at Gmail. Hit us up on the socials, Zach Gray of Quartz Lake, Reverend Marcus, Zach Gray, or the Rougarou. For Zach, we'll hit you up. We'll tell you our tips for the hikes, how to get them, whatnot, other cool stuff around those. So we're more than happy to help you enjoy these hikes as much as we do. That being said, we're going to start wrapping up the show here today with the final words. So, final words, Zach, my guy.
I'm gonna keep it short this week, and I want to just tell our listeners, for my final words, go find your top 5 hikes, and if you don't have 5 of them, go make 5 of them, because it's the adventure inside of us that fuels us, and I think it makes us happier. Um, and definitely, like, go find your 5 hikes.
I dig it. I dig it. I love it. I love it. Reverend's final words of wisdom today. Stay beautiful, everybody. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough for listening and supporting the podcast. Uh, it really can't thank you guys all enough. As for the fancy final words of the day, go make your memory, go make an adventure. It's out there to be enjoyed. We live in a beautiful world. Go out and enjoy it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed if you do. So,
Right.
yeah. But, that being said,
Until next time.